Okay, we know that we have two ways to register the scheduler. First, that is a whiteboard pattern. By using the whiteboard pattern, we can uh, we can register our servlet, and second one is the scheduler API. Okay, so if you want to create your scheduler, then we have two ways. First one is a whiteboard pattern, and second one is the scheduler API. Yeah, so yesterday we talk about the scheduler API. That means we have one org apache sling.api.scheduler API, and inside that we have a lot of interfaces and classes. Like yesterday we talk about the scheduler interface is there, and after that we have a schedule option. Yeah, we have a schedule option. Both are the interfaces, so it's responsible for scheduling a job or cron based job, and it one is responsible for providing some extra functionality to this scheduler. Yeah, and whiteboard pattern we can achieve by using the runnable interface. Here we have one concept of runnable interface. By using, this is the normal class. Consider this one is our normal class, and this class you want to convert into a scheduler. For that we have to implement the runnable interface. This is the interface, we have to implement it, and one method is there, that is run method. Whatever the task you have, if you want to execute some task based on the scheduler, then this task we have to write inside this run method. Yeah, and by using some API, or by using some method, we can easily execute this task. Yeah, this is the thing. That is nothing but our yesterday, this is nothing but your scheduler API, and here inside the whiteboard pattern we can use the runnable interface for creating it. But how we can define the whiteboard pattern? Like whenever you are using this class, this is the public. Like here I am defining one class, that is B. See, I'll tell you, nowadays nobody is using a whiteboard pattern. Why? Because of it has deprecated. Like, and scheduler API, it has a lot of drawbacks, advantages. That's why we are using a scheduler APIs. Okay, it's providing all the methods and the services. Yeah, but why we are using this whiteboard pattern and the scheduler API? See, so in our Java, when we write the backend code, okay, so whenever we are writing the backend code for the Java, in for the AEM, we are not able to create the object. You will see, when you are defining, I am not creating the object anywhere. Okay, I am using some annotation. By using that annotation I am creating the object, but you won't see like this. Like, this is your class name, later that you have created one object equals to new, and again you have written the constructor. You won't see like that. Why? Because of here we define the component at the top level. So what they will do, so they, when you deploy all the object for this B, they will automatically internally they will create for this B. Yeah, so we don't need to be create. If you want to, and inside the same thing in your whiteboard pattern uses the annotations like component, and we know that in scheduler API also they use the annotation. Why? Because of we are writing the scheduler inside our uh, service, that means inside our OGS service. Yeah, but except that thing, we have the service, and inside this service we have to use the service equals to runnable dot class. Okay, we have to use runnable dot class, and after that, that means we have registered this servlet as a runnable dot class. Yeah, and if you want to register this, so for that we have the property. Guys, 1 minute. Okay, so by using this property, by using this annotation like property, we can register our servlet. That means we can schedule our servlet. We can schedule our job. So this is the job. Yeah, this is the job, for example, and you want to execute this job. So where you can define? Yeah, so you have to define as a class level. So here we have to define it inside this property, we have to write. So I'll show you. Okay, now I'll show you. Here you see, here this is the property they have uses, and by using this property they have scheduled the uh, they have scheduled the job based on the expression. So this is our expression. Yeah, so we have to write the expression by using this value. Yeah, and after that this one, how you are scheduling by using the expression. So this is the expression you have to define here. After that they have implement the runnable interface, and whenever you are implementing runnable interface you have to define this run, and inside the run you are adding all the logic, whatever the object you want to write, you have to write inside this run method. Yeah, so this, when this method, okay, when this cron will come, the time of this cron will come, that time this code will execute, whatever the code that you have write inside the run method, it will execute. So where we are defining as a class level. Okay, but in our scheduler API we not define like that, we define inside the class and we can schedule it. Okay, this is the thing. After that, here we have registered this, here we have scheduler schedule our job by using the expression, and here we have schedule by using a periodically. Okay, that means by using some seconds or the time. So here we have a 10, we have schedule after the 10 seconds, it will execute the job after that every 10 seconds. Yeah, here we can also use the true and the false. Here if you want to define or you want to add some properties to your scheduler, you can easily define. So for that we have to use one annotation, that is properties, and after that maybe inside the properties if you want to define more than one property, then you have to use this property annotation. So here first time I have enabled this service. Okay, first of all I have enabled the scheduler. So for the enabling you have to write service dot enable. Yeah, and after that by using the cron expression I have set. So for that I have used the scheduler dot expression, and here I have set it a label and the expression. Okay, if you want to run your scheduler concurrently or simultaneously, for that they have provided one attributes, so scheduler dot concurrent, and here you have to use the true. So when you are using here true, that means your scheduler will run concurrently or simultaneously. Yeah, and if you want to define the vendor for the scheduler, you can define it here. Okay, so all this property we are defining by using the annotations. See, by using the annotations we are defining all the properties. Yeah, but mostly we'll use the job annotation, we use the scheduler API. Why? Because of it has some advantages. We are not defining the schedule, we are not registering directly, and another thing is we are not defining or scheduling our servlet as a class level. Okay, we have to define inside the class. So now I'll show you. And another thing is, where's my pen? Okay, here we have a runnable interface. Yeah, and another thing, we have a job interface. Both are the interface, both are the interfaces. It has one method, that is run method, and inside this run method we don't have any parameters. Okay, and whenever you are implementing this runnable, you have to override this run method, otherwise it will throw the exception. In this our job interface, we have one method, that is execute. Yeah, and inside this execute we have one parameter, that is job context. Okay, job context. But here inside our runnable we don't have. Mostly we prepare to use the job. Why? Because of it has one job context parameter, and this one is responsible to store your object related, that means your scheduler related information. Like consider, now you have scheduler 3 jobs, like here first one, second one, and third one. 3 times you have scheduled it. Okay, now each job have some information, just like a URL, yeah, just like a name of your company and some professors, Okay, this is the data everyone have. So we want to print this data. Okay, we want to print this data, but if we are using this runnable, we can't print it. Why? Because of we don't have any methods, we don't have any variable for handling this information. So for that they have introduced another concept, that is execute. And by using this object context, this is the information configuration. You can use this you can take this configuration and you can easily print it. Okay, so for that we use this execute or job interface. Okay, so I'll show you, just go there. Okay, so here I have came. First of all, this is the thing that I have defined. This is the component. Now this is just simple a class. This class I want to convert into a scheduler. So for that we have to implement job interface. You can implement job, otherwise runnable. Okay, and here we have to register our class into a service. So for that we have to use service equals to job dot class. Okay, I have used the job dot class. That is done. Okay, after that we have inside the job we have one method, that is execute. So we have to override add an implemented method. Yeah, we got it. Now just remove these things. Okay, you can use job context. Yeah, so here now, if this is the task, okay, whatever the task business logic you want to execute, you want to schedule it, this business logic we have to write here. Okay, but if this business logic is executing more than once, so for that this business logic is executing more than one, we need some information to store here. Yeah, so it will store all the information first here, and later that it will execute. And if you want to print some scheduler related information, so it has stored inside this job context, you can easily print it, you can easily execute it. Okay, now here I'm coming, and I'm just executing this by using a scheduler API. I already told you whiteboard pattern nowadays I deprecated, so we can't use. If you want to use, you can use it, but I'm using a scheduler. So for that scheduling API, for that I'm just taking, so for taking it we need a address reference. So if any service you want to call in another service, for that we have to use address reference annotation. Okay, come here, and here I'm using scheduler. Done. It's done. I have imported. After that I'm just defining one scheduler, name of the scheduler. I have defined the name of the scheduler, yeah, in an integer format. So that is done. And after that we know that we are not able to create the object of the scheduler somewhere here. So for that we have to use the activate and deactivate method. So they will automatically call when your project is deployed. So here I'm using activate. Public void activate. Here I have called, and here I am using scheduler configuration. Yeah, so our scheduler configuration is already defined. We know yesterday we have discussed about this thing, and we have created as well. So this thing we will use here. Here now I'm just simply setting. So for setting it, you have to use the scheduler. Okay, so config dot get service name. I got the name. I'm just converting this. This is in the string format. Okay, so now this name I'm converting into an integer. So for that we have to use hash code. Yeah, so it will return the integer format now. So we have already created this integer. So just come here and just assign it scheduler ID. Then, and after that I'm just calling one method, that is job scheduler. Okay, so this is the method that I have called, and inside this method I'll just write all the logic. Okay, so just come here and just create this method. here we have to write public void job scheduler. Keep in mind first word must be in small. Here I have defined, and inside that we have one parameter, that is scheduler configuration. And here I define one variable, that is config. Okay, we got it. Now inside that we have to write the logic. So how we can return it? So first of all, I'm just what I'm doing, I'm just defining our cron expression. That means I'm just defining the cron expression. So how we can do it? This we knows that our inside our scheduler we have a cron expression method, and here we have to define the expressions. Okay, so once you have defined, it will return one object, that is schedule options. So accept it, schedule options. So here I'm creating a schedule options for the India. Now what I'm doing, I'm just creating more than one scheduler. Okay, each scheduler will execute one by one, and it has some information. Okay, so just go and just add it. Here I have created one object, and this is the thing, we have to schedule it. So for the scheduler dot schedule is there, and after that here we have to execute this, and this is India. Okay, that means what I'm doing here, we got this expression. I will write here expressions. Okay, no issue. So we got this expression, and once we got this expression, we have to schedule it. So we have schedule, I have type here, and how we can schedule, by using this schedule method. But what you want to schedule it? So I just want to schedule this task. Inside that we will write some business logic. This I just want to execute it, so we have to mention this. So I have mentioned by using this, and at that time I just want to execute. So this is the time I have printed, I have mentioned here. Okay, but now for this scheduler, now I just want to, for this scheduler I want to add some information. So how we can add it? So for that one method is there. Inside our schedule options we have one method, that is config. Okay, here we have a config, and this method accept the parameter as a hash map, as a map. So we have to write here hash map. So create the hash map first. How we can create? Map string and the serializable. Okay, here I'm just creating one object, new hash map, and here. Okay, so this is the hash map that we have created. Okay, so once you have created, now I'm just passing some information in this hash map. Okay, so by using put, I'm just adding name, and that name is search. Once you have added this, we have to add another one, that is object dot put, and this time I'm just adding a location, TION. Location is Bangalore, no? Object dot put, and here I am just using URL. Okay, this is the thing that I have written it. Okay, that is no issue. But for why I have created, I have added some information inside this object, and this object is accepted by this config. So here we have to use this obj. This is the thing, that is object map. Okay, so object, that is also okay. Object, it's for the map now, so I have used this for the map. Okay, so here we have to use the map. Okay, I have created the map, and after that I have scheduled it as well. See, this is the job I have scheduled. Again I'm creating another job. So how we can create? So we have to write different expressions for scheduling the job. You can schedule all the job at the one time, otherwise in a different time. Okay, so it's depend on your expression. Again just create it, the same thing. copy this one, paste it, and here. So now I'm just create for the German. Yeah, object map 1. Here we have to add 1. Okay, we have added, and we don't want this time we want German, so we got the German. Copy it, come here and paste it again. Here we have to add the German. No, that's also okay. Okay, so I have scheduled the job 3 times. Okay, so I have created the object. This is for first, this one is the second, and this one is the third. And now I just want to execute this task. This is the task, I just want to execute it, but this is the information I want to print in my task. So how we can do that thing? So all this information is already stored inside this variable. See, sometimes some cases or some circumstances will come there. This is the task, this task information, that means this is the scheduler. You have this is the object that is scheduled, and this object related information you want to print inside this task. Then for that we have to use this execute method. So use this job context. Here we have, okay, so I just want to, whatever the logic that I'm just writing, this logic I just want to print in my logger. So for that I'm using log dot info, and what I want, job context here, and get configuration. Okay, so what I'm doing, see, when I have written the job context dot get configuration, that means this is your configuration. So whatever you have added inside this object map through, these are nothing but your configuration. Okay, and what are these things inside this? So we have a name, we have a location, we have a URL. So you can just call it get, you can get it. So what you want now, I just want name. So when I try to call this name, I will get this search. So just try to call this name. Yeah, now we got the null. Here asking we have to typecast string like this. Okay, but let it be. We just write some value here. Name, we got the name. Later that, okay, so this is the formatter. So when I have uses the name, internally name, I have written name. Inside this placeholder it will store this value. This is the value it will store. After that I just want to execute another things. Like this time I just want to use the job context dot get configuration dot get, and here you can simply use, this time I just want URL, no, location. You can print the location, and after that now I just want job context get configuration dot get, and inside this get we want the URL. So you can use the URL, but this value will not print. Why? Because of you haven't write in your double quotes. So we have to write, we have to add the placeholder. So I have added. Now this value will print. Okay, so we have written this. This one is also okay. This one is also okay. Done. Yeah, we have uses only for the activate. We have to deactivate as well. So how we can deactivate? So for that you can simply do one thing. You can use deactivate public void deactivate. Here I have used the deactivate, And if you want to define the scheduler configuration, you can define scheduler configuration. We are not using, but so here I'm just using a remove scheduler methods. Always keep in mind we have to write the logic outside this deactivate and activate methods. Okay, so here I'm just defining public void remove scheduler, and we have one method. By using that we can easily reschedule it, and this method is present in our scheduler, so that is unscheduled method. Yeah, here, and we have to write the name here. It accept the name in the form of string, so for that we have to use the string dot value of, and here we have to write our integer name, that is scheduler id. Yeah, so this scheduler id now it has converted into a string. Maybe we have a problem in our scheduler configuration, and here we have to define the name. Now this error got solved. This is the thing, and now we'll try to add the expression. So how we can add the expressions? For that you can just simply come here, cron maker is there. After 1 minute, okay, just try to generate, copy this and just try to paste everywhere. This is not a way, I'm just hard coding, but don't hard code it. Just create one OHGI scheduler configuration, and when you are using the scheduler configuration you can this is the best way. Where I have used scheduler configuration, somewhere I have used now scheduler configuration, but I haven't used it. Okay, done. Okay, just try to deploy and check it, it's running, executing or not. Oh, we haven't write here name, just like a name we have defined. After that we have to write the location. After that we have to write URL as well. Okay, so our deployment is successful. Now we'll just go there and we'll try to check it. So I just came in my AEM. We have to double click in your error.log and just check it, whatever we have printed in our log, all the thing is printing or not. So I'm just searching this search. Okay, so we'll do one thing. No, it's very difficult. We can open this as a editable as a notepad plus plus. What is our information? Search Bangalore, and okay, so we'll try to search the Bangalore. Yeah, just control F and just try to search. Yeah, here you see. So here the search and the location is, and here we have a URL. So all the thing has it printed. So from where it's coming? It's coming from the custom.scheduler. So here you see, here we have this custom.scheduler, and from this custom.scheduler this log is printing. So this is the log that is printing from our custom.scheduler. Yeah, and everywhere we have written the same data, so that's why that same data is printing. So this is our scheduler, and the scheduler, first scheduler is executing this job, and when it's executing at that time it's printing this configuration as well. So it has some configuration in our scheduler, just like a name, location and the URL. Our mistake is we have added this scheduler, this configuration everywhere same, so we have to change it. So let it be now, and everywhere when they will try to execute it, every time it will execute this method. It will execute this method from this first scheduler, second and the third scheduler as well. Okay, so this is the thing.